Well, yesterday the fan on one of my GPUs started acting up. Now, I decided I wasn't going to run that GPU with a fan that was acting up because, quite frankly, if the fan stops completely, then I run a risk of overheating my GPU and possibly messing it up. So I went ahead and took that GPU out of my computer case and I looked up the part number of the fan and then ordered it. And of course, it's coming from China, so it should take, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks to get here. But I need my GPU. So I came up with this idea. I took a case fan and I wire tied it over top the heatsink of this GPU. And then I have the case fan. Basically, it's not hooked to it's not being powered by the GPU. It's just hooked to the case fan header on my computer, on my motherboard. So it's not going to react dynamically to the temperature of the GPU. Basically, when the GPU gets hotter, this fan is not going to speed up. But I'm hoping, because it is, a 120 millimeter fan versus an 85 millimeter fan that was actually in it, it should have enough airflow in order to keep this GPU cool under use. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to test this. Down here, I have two temperatures for my GPUs. The one on the left right here, that's the GPU that's running my displays, and it's also going to be rendering. And then this one right here is the GPU that has the case fan on it. That's the one that I had to buy a new fan for. So I got this scene right here set to 1024 passes or samples. So it should take, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes to render this scene. With it going 3 or 4 minutes, it should get up to a max temperature. So I'm going to monitor this temperature and make sure that it's not getting too hot. Alright, let's see how hot it actually gets. Well, it's climbing, but it's climbing slower than the one without the busted fan, although it's starting to catch up. But those aren't bad temperatures regardless. If it stayed, in the 50s, if it doesn't go higher than 60, I'm going to be happy with it. Even though above 60 is still safe. But with it being jerry-rigged, I'd rather it stay in the 50s or lower. But yeah, it looks like it's going to do pretty good. See, the other GPU has pretty much leveled off. Now this one's still climbing. And I think the reason behind that is because there is no dynamic control. That fan has no dynamic control because it's not changing its speed according to the GPU temp. It's going to keep climbing until it reaches some kind of equilibrium, which I'm assuming will be somewhere in the 50s. But I don't know for sure. Well, they're both running 50 degrees, 51 and 50. I'm thinking about, I'm not actually thinking about it. I'm actually planning on it. I'd like to get a new RTX or new GPU, and I'm thinking about an RTX card. But I cannot afford one of these, like RTX 2080s or 2080 Ti's. I'd love to have a 2080 Ti, but I'm probably going to end up getting a 2060, an RTX 2060, because they're still in my price range. They're around $400, and from what I can tell, they still will do a lot better than basically a 1060. All right, I'm up to 56, 57 degrees, so it has gotten hotter than the other one, but it's still very reasonable temperatures. And quite honestly, most of my renders that I do are way less than 3 minutes a frame. Most of my renders are anywhere between 10 seconds to about 1.5 minutes a frame. And whenever you have that little 5 to 10 second period between each frame, it will obviously cool off quite a bit. It's already up to 59, so it looks like it will be fine as long as I don't use it for really tough renders. But yeah, that's still not bad temperature. It went up to 60, bounced back down to 59. So it looks like it's starting to level off. I have a feeling it's right about there is where it's going to equalize. Yeah, it don't look like it's climbing anymore. The other one's bounced between 57. Oh, went up to 61, back down to 60. So yeah, it's right. It's hitting that equilibrium point. So that's not a bad temperature. Now I definitely don't want to run it, on some heavy renders until I get a proper fan. But this works in a pinch. But I would not recommend it because, like I said, if the fan stops working, gets anything, you can mess up your GPU. But yeah, up to 62, back down to 61. So it's still climbing. It's just climbing slow. But it's been rendering for almost 5 minutes. So yeah, it works. It's just not ideal. But anyway, I just wanted to show you this. I thought it was kind of, like duct tape and barbed wire rigging, baling wire and duct tape rigging, kind of like, a redneck job, I guess. But anyway, later, people.